setting new standards in podcast excellence. You have joined the WBT, fully focused on business and taxes. Here is your host, Michael Lodge.
And welcome to the WBT. So, this is Mike Lodge, by the way. Listen, yesterday President Trump came out with an executive order that deals with Section 230 of a congressionally passed law to protect not internet providers, but social media companies from being attacked with lawsuits based upon what people are posting. It would not hold them responsible for misleading, bad things, lies, so that people could not sue them. So I have no problem with the executive order. And I'll tell you the reason why. I don't know if you do much on social media, but I do, because I have a podcast which I produce out there, and I have vlogs and blogs and everything that I put out on social media. Now, I have been fact-checked. Just like the president, I have been fact-checked. And I hate it, because it's usually something that I have posted from a mainstream media post, and then I have somebody in Facebook fact-checking me and telling me that it's wrong, and then they put this mask over my submission to Facebook or Twitter. I've had it done on Twitter also. And when they replaced the document, and they said that, listen, we have fact-checked your submission and found that it's 50% accurate. And they use as their source a blogger. Now, bloggers can say anything they want, just like what I'm saying right now. So, when they do that, then they bend the rules. They think they're under this protection under 230 that says they're not going to get sued. But then by editing me, they have just become a publisher. And a publisher edits. A publisher then becomes responsible, because 230 doesn't cover a publisher. A publisher then becomes responsible for anything that is said or posted or done that harms somebody else. So by them doing this, I can see the president's point, because it's been done to me. I have had it as an experience. And I don't like it, because what they are normally posting to support the reason why they're fact-checking me is something worthless. It's something that doesn't even support their argument. And if they're going to use bloggers as a support mechanism, they're just wasting their time, because bloggers have their political agendas also. And they will post and say anything. They have no fact-checking going on when they post their blogs. No one fact-checks my stuff when I post my blogs. So I can see where the president can get angry. It's been done to him. It's been done to other people. It's been done to me. It's been done to people. And I see it's on Facebook a lot of the times. I was just fact-checked again. And it has become that even Facebook and Twitter, at least at Facebook, they have now created this group that are individuals on the far left when you think politically. So they don't have an equal opportunity board that's fact checking us or creating this fact check group, and that is the problem. Because if Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or any of these social media groups, if they have a political agenda that they want to achieve, they will try to block out anyone with an opposing view. And that is not free speech. It's a sad situation when you can't say something. I mean, I can understand. Listen, if you are saying something hateful, racially hateful, wanting people to die, that's hate speech, and that should be stopped. And that is that's covered under the law. But when you are, like me, just a businessman, posting an article from an outside source, usually the mainstream media, or if I'm talking about how politics involves our businesses and how we need to be able to question what's going on in politics through our dissent, you're blocked. If you say anything negative about China, you become fact-checked. So what Facebook has decided to do, and Instagram and Twitter they decided to do, is edit our postings as a publisher edits a book, or a publisher edits a newspaper, or a magazine, or any type of publication. So you can see how they have overstepped their bounds. This just isn't about President Trump. It's not just about him. It's about every American that gets fact-checked. Because now we have posted items onto Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, and they are covering our posting with their own posting of saying how we're 50%, how they feel we are, the story that we posted is 50% true, and then they post their story, so they're overriding what we're trying to say by their political view. You see what I mean? So this is a very dangerous situation, especially right now when we're in an election year. But we are trying to make a political point in Facebook or Yahoo or whatever the social media giant may be are coming in and saying, no, we don't agree with you. Here's our fact check. You're wrong. That is not free speech. In fact, that is not even free political speech. And one of the things I need to point out to you is that I, as a business, I have free speech. That is guaranteed in the Constitution as a business has. Every corporation out there, every business has the constitutional right of free speech, just as individuals do. But my free speech doesn't allow me to override your free speech. In other words, if I say something and then Facebook comes along and overrides what I've said with their opinion and fact checks me, that is not free speech. Now, I can understand them taking something that I may have posted that is hateful speech, or what any American posts as hateful speech, and attacks people hatefully and makes threats hatefully, then yes, under the law they should be taken down. But not if I am posting something about business or about politics that affects business. No one has a right to check me. If they want to go out and check me on their own time, great, do that. But you have no right to override me. Now, you can come back to me under the comment section below, and we can argue it. You can post your comment of how you feel, because that's free speech. So we have to realize that free speech is an important thing. And when you have companies that are major media giants coming in and fact-checking you, then you do not have free speech any longer. You don't have it because they have now become a publisher and are editing what I'm saying or what I'm trying to say. So when I see the president putting down an executive order, which really doesn't mean anything, but what it does do is start the conversation and the changing of the law. And lawmakers have been wanting to change the Section 230 of that law for a long time, and the reason why is it was good. It was good when it was first started. When was it done? It was done in 1996, so that's a long time ago. It's called Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act. And a lot of politicians have wanted to change that because things have changed drastically. Remember back in 1996, it was tame, okay? No one was out there literally attacking you at that time. It was a new thing. It was a new technology. So 230 had to be put into place because it needed to protect the media, the social media companies, so that people could not sue them based upon what other people had said. But then, now, to this day, people are still saying what they want to say, however, they're being fact-checked now. And that becomes a publishing issue instead of a Section 230 issue. And that's where we're in trouble today. And that's why the president is upset about this, because we're in the election year, and now we've got social media that can come along and fact-check you and knock out your comments. And that is really important, because then that ends the process of free speech. For companies, for individuals, for organizations. So I'm okay with the president's executive order. I don't know how much it does, but at least it starts the process. Starts the process of making some changes to an old law. Remember, and I think this is what happens in government a lot. They pass a law, and they think that law should stay the same for the remainder of the... Okay, we pass a law, we don't have to do anything more. The problem is that things change. It's just like, and I'll go back to this. When we look at our treaties with all different countries, right? Things change. Different ways of doing things change. Technology changes. The way that we look at goods and services changes, because it's changing all the time. So treaties have to change and have to be revised, so it's on a playing field that is fair. That's why the president was correct to go after all these treaties, because things have changed from the day we signed the treaty until now. And we also need to start looking at some of these tax treaties that we have with these foreign governments. We need to start looking at that. But that's why we needed to go and change these treaties between these countries, because everything in life changes. Business practices change. Importing, exporting, everything changes with technology and everything else. We're mostly an internet-driven economy now. Not economy, but we're an internet-driven world where everything gets done. Contracts are done on the internet. Agreements are done. For me, mediation is done. So things change, and treaties need to change, just like our laws in the United States need to change. That's why we need to tweak them from time to time to make them fair to everyone. And when we get down to the issue of free speech, that is why Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act needs to be changed. Because now social media has changed. Social media has become a predominant way of all of us getting our news. On Facebook, we see news things coming every day, because Fox, CNN, MSNBC, they all have links to Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. But now, so they're posted freely. The The problem that we have now is that the social media has now decided to become an editor and start editing what we are posting. Again, hate speech is bad, and that needs to be taken off. We all understand that. But it comes to the point now where your speech and my speech is being monitored by social media. And they're editing what we are posting. And that is wrong. That is not covered under 230. It is not covered underneath there. So, by the president doing his executive order, it really does help the conversation to begin on what is fair and what is right. And as businesses, we need to be careful of how we look at this, because what we post business-wise, and if Facebook can come along, what we post is business-wise of how we see things as a business person or as an analyst or whatever, and then a social media company comes along and fact checks us, that's wrong. That's not up to their responsibility as a social media platform. So the platform has changed. Now they become editors-in-chief. I hope that kind of gives you a good idea of how I feel about it, how the president sees it, and how a lot of politicians see it. It's been seen this way on both sides, on the Democratic side and on the Republican side. They both a lot of them see it the same way. Now, some of them are going to come out with political smacks and everything else back at the president, which is, excuse me, which is politics. I'm sorry that I keep coughing, but last week I was down in that house, the depth of that house in South Carolina, and there is everything down there that got into my lungs, and now I'm coughing, and hopefully it will go away in a couple more days. But let's really focus on what's happening within our social media giants and the power that they hold over you and I, and the power that they can kind of delete our free speech options that we have under the Constitution. I know you may think, well, it's just the internet. Well, yeah, the internet is something that is really important to everybody's lives now, because we are so internet driven as a world society, and also here in the United States. Everything we do is internet driven. When I prepare taxes, it's all internet driven. If I do accounting work, it's all internet driven. If I do mediation sessions with clients, it's all internet driven through video. So it does matter, because how our rights are protected under the Constitution and privacy and confidentiality, we have to monitor it all the time. And for social media to start editing what we're doing, that's wrong. That is wrong. Listen, if you have a comment or a question, send me a text at 818-252-5682, 818-252-5682. Listen, if you'd like to become, if you really like these podcasts that I do, please support us. There's a link in the comment section down below. If you look down below, as you're watching this or listening to this podcast, there's a comment section in there that has a link, and you can click on there and just do it if you like my podcast. A little bit of support always helps, I tell you. Just a little bit of support. Again, this is Mike Lodge for the WBT. Again, send me a text at 818-252-5682. I'll talk with you soon. Everybody go out and have a great day and a great weekend. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to the WBT with Michael Lodge. Join us again tomorrow as we explore more about business and taxes. Follow us on iHeartRadio and go to our podcast website at www.wbtpod.com and listen to all of our podcasts and read our blogs.
This podcast has been produced by Michael Lodge, fully focused on content.